Hey, I'm Rafa, and I'm here yet again to myself to talk about Seventh Chakra, Thousand Leaves, False Doctrine, and Shadows over Nova Prispiak, which are all set in this universe dubbed the Iolite League universe because that's convenient, and they're all stories with lots of cool, really cool shit happens in them. And I'm having to calm myself down here because I have this really big idea, which is probably going to take me a lot longer than I really think. Where I really want to make a video that I know is going to be super long, where I talk in a concise way about the stuff and things that happens in these books without just rambling on about like, oh my god, and then this happened. So this is like a general overview. So the Iolite League stories are written by Kevin Frane, who at the time of publishing the stories was most commonly going as Rikoshi. He's also known as Kam Hirosaki, which okay, I'll ramble about this. So there's this episode of Unsheathed where they interview is it? I think it's Teal Fox. 5 seconds. No, it's not Teal Fox. It was not Tube, and I think that's right. And they get them on this episode of Unsheathed, and basically it's like a book interview, like talking to Rikoshi about his experiences of writing. I think it's 2 books at that time. Yeah, both Thousand Leaves and Seventh Chakra at that time. And unknown to me, I don't know how I didn't catch it, where like I just thought they were 2 different people. Then I totally bought into that, like, you know, Kam Hirosaki wasn't available. And yeah, so there's a really cool episode of Unsheathed where he talks about... No, he did talk about writing Seventh Chakra, saying that how at the first draft, Arkady was like a shit, wishy-washy character. I really want to go and listen to that again. So, back on topic, the writer... So the first novel he wrote was Thousand Leaves back in... Oh, fuck me. This is so all over the place. Back in 2008. And in summary, Thousand Leaves is the name of the city in Ridge Crescent, which is this 3-tiered city where there's like, you know, shitty kind of slums, the not so much better mid-tier, and then the rich, clean, hyper cool upper tier. And Reeve is from the middle tier, and he goes to a bar, a gay bar in the upper tier district where all his friends like upper tier cool people. And the bar is called Oracle. And what's happening in the city of Thousand Leaves, in the capital of Ridge Crescent, which is an incredibly xenophobic country, and what's happening is that there's this disease going around, which is affecting all the species, which is unheard of at this point, and it basically drives people to commit suicide, or just their bodies shut down. It's really weird, no one knows what's going on, and what's worse is that some of the symptoms are like paranoia and delusional, delusion would be the proper word, and unfortunately Reeve starts to get paranoid and delusional and is worried for all his friends and thinks that something is not right. And yeah, cool shit happens, which I'll stop myself here, to stop myself just going on and on. So, just from that alone, like, should be enough to want to go read Thousand Leaves. Like, I I don't think I have any problems with it. I think I get too wrapped up in the world and the story because it really is my thing, and it's so interesting. So, if you wanted to hear something like that, I don't know, go find something else. Because I love Thousand Leaves and the rest of the stories in the universe. So, yeah, like, if you haven't read it, fucking go read it. Like, it is so good. Um, there is, adults, people doing adult relationship stuff, but there's no, like, sex. Yeah, there's, like, implied things. And so, yeah, Thousand Leaves, awesome book. I love it. So, yeah, moving on to the prequel, Seventh Chakra, which was released in 2010. Just 3 years, I think that makes it, afterwards. Another thing to mention is that, for like, what's the word, to drum up interest, with these books before when they were releasing, Kam Hirosaki wrote, two little snippet story things. The one to do with Thousand Leaves is, it's a freaking badass freaking helicopter chase where Arkady and Boots are trying to get Alistair Duhamel to the hospital, and that is fucking awesome. And then the one for Seventh Chakra is incredibly interesting too, because that's like a documentorial write-up of the country of Ridge Crescent and its capital city, Thousand Leaves, and that is interesting in itself. I just realized something that I don't know why I didn't realize it sooner, is that the latter part of the Seventh Chakra is set in the Ridge Crescent, like they go to Ridge Crescent, which is actually interesting in itself. And so I guess in summary, because Seventh Chakra again is another book which will be great going into not knowing too much about it. So Seventh Chakra is it's actually more focused this time because it's focused on Arkady. He's like the main character. You don't really leave his perspective, which is so good in many ways, especially towards the twist in the end. And it's not really much of a twist. I guess it's progression of characters as they go on, and yeah, so it's basically about Arkady's super secret agent dude on a special team. He works for the Iolite League in Sahasrara, which is the top level of all the secret arms of the Iolite League. And yeah, he fucks up in a mission at the start, and then something happens, and then he has to go on another mission really quickly, and everyone's shocked, and he doesn't know if he's ready for it, but it's imperative that they go now. And they go on the mission, and all this shit happens. Yeah, like, I really don't want to say too much, because, again, it's just, like, reading this stuff for yourself as you go along is just, and, yeah, again, I don't think I have any problems with it. Yeah, it's amazing. The cover's beautiful, too. I always love, Calmi's work, and I still like Seventh Chakra. It's my favourite character. Favourite cover. Like, honestly, my favourite... like, the bookmark I use all the time is, like, a Seventh Chakra one, which I got randomly in an order from Rabbit Valley. I would pay, like, $5 for, like, more of those bookmarks. And, yeah. And then, you should go read these books, because they're really good fairy books. Well, they're really good books in general. I mean, I would enjoy it slightly less if they weren't animal people, but I feel like even in both of them, it is very important that they are animal people. In subtle ways, more than major ways in Thousand Leaves. Because I think it says a lot about characters and the goal that people are trying to achieve, like, in these books. Is very dependent on it, whether they're animal people or not. I honestly think, like, yeah, everyone would be very different characters if they weren't animal people. And, I think, honestly, the most interesting concept I have ever read is this little revelation towards the end of the Seventh Chakra, where I was like, oh my god, like, that is, whoa. And I don't want to spoil it because it is that amazing. It just plants so much, like, thought in your head. And, so, in further talk, I guess after you've read those two, like, you could read these two stories separately. I think Shadows over Nova Prispiak, or whatever, is up on his FA, and then False Doctrine is in What Happens Next, which is another amazing anthology, and I'm sure I'm sorry, Kevin Frane, but my favorite story in What Happens Next is Jenna's one, to do with his Doc Rat character. Cause that world just seems so depressing. It's just like, oh my god. But yeah, so Kevin Frane's stories in these two are to do with the character Montserrat Leonide. I think that's how you pronounce it. And she is the most badass motherfucker. More badass than Ilhion, which I don't know how you could get to be more badass than Ilhion. Ilhion is Arkady's partner in Seventh Chakra. His other partner is Minjung, a rabbit, which I always forgot she was a rabbit. Maybe she's a hare. I don't know why I always forgot that. Like, yeah. Anyway, so, and then, so in Shadows over Nova Prispiak, Montserrat is going back and meeting her brother, who she hasn't seen in a long time. And again, I'll leave it at that. Cause, just, yeah. And then in What Happens Next, we go back to Montserrat Leonide, and Arkady and Boots are like, hey, we need you to do a job for us, and she's like, fuck, I'm not doing anything else. She's like, that diminishes it so bad. Okay, she's not that flippant, but it's more like, fuck it, I can't do anything else with me and my life, which is tragic. Is very tragic for her character on that part. And then, and she goes on this job, and the ending is just like all the endings of these stories are just like, oh my god, like fucking mind blown. Well, not really False Doctrine. You kind of see it coming, but it doesn't reduce its impact. Like, okay, I will spoil the ending for False Doctrine, because if you've read the other stories and then you read False Doctrine becomes more interesting with the mission she's on. Like, I think out of all the stories, that's the one I have just so many open-ended questions for. And so yeah, at the end, because she was a member of Anya, which is the group below Sahasra, which is the one that Arkady was in. and their approach, that they're like the shotgun of the secret groups. I think there was a name for the secret groups, but I can't remember it. And their approach was better safe than sorry. And towards the end of the book, she starts talking about that, and you're like, where's this going? And then you're like, oh, and yeah, so she completes her job, and she finds out that, yeah, there might be something here. So, you know, better safe than sorry. I'll just fucking snap his fucking neck. And she does. She snaps, Gilroof, this, I don't know if that's his last name or first name. I could just probably just look, but she snaps his neck, and he's dead. It's just like, holy fuck. And the ending's pretty cool. I got a little bit of flashbacks to the ending of Thousand Leaves, when Arkady is talking to Ilhion. That is another great scene. And, yeah. So, in summary, I hope I kept on point a fair amount, because I was really struggling to stop myself from just, you know, oh, this, and this, and then, oh my god, and that meant this, but then this happened, and I just wanted a general talk. They are definitely one of the most interesting fairy books I will ever, hopefully, I'll be upset if I read something better that's more interesting, but I do and I don't hope that. It was just, yeah, like, oh, like, I know I've read Thousand Leaves 3 times, Seventh Chakra twice, and then I've read the other 2 short stories 3 times? Yeah, because I read, False Doctrine the other night as well. And, oh, shit. Oh my god. Okay, I just realized something. So, in Raw Volume 1, okay, this is bonus, okay, if you really want to go into these blind, stop now, I guess, kinda. Yeah, in summary, these books are great, go fucking buy them. I'll put links in the description. I don't know if there is ebooks, there might be. Yeah, I don't have any faults about them. There's nothing I don't like. And so yeah, in Raw Volume 1, which I'm pretty sure I got it and read it before I read A Thousand Leaves and any of the others, there's a short story in it called A Song for Pandora? Yeah, A Song for Pandora. And, spoilers, by the end of the short story, you realize that, Pandora is the eponymous Pandora from the Iolite League stories. And she's awake, and she's working. And I recently, okay, this is one thing that I wanted to know for ages, because, so, I think, yeah, last year sometime, I tweeted at, Cam Hirosaki asking if there are any more stories in the Iolite League universe. And he said there was one in What Happens Next, because I saw that there was one in that. And, I didn't notice there was one in, Raw Volume 3. And he's like, oh yeah, there's just those 2. And then I thought it was a bit weird that he didn't mention A Song for Pandora in Raw Volume 1, because for the longest time I thought that was part of the universe. And so I emailed him the other day, and that was one of the questions I asked, like, is that part of the the universe, and he's like, yes, but it's the very far future. And to me, that confirms so much shit. And yeah, like, if you, especially reading like this one last, it's like so much, so much things mean from that. And yeah, it's just like, whoa. And also, it's a good short story too. It's about this girl who's in high school and has these dreams, and things start happening around her at high school. Yeah. And yeah, yeah. So yeah, go fucking read that. And I think that concludes it. Hopefully when I go back and edit this and probably add a bunch of other shit, it won't be a huge mess. But anyway, I've been Rafa, and oh fuck, I can't wait to talk about this shit.